Hello, everyone. You are welcome to get another interesting and artistic edition of Creative Forum on ABS TV, and I am your host, Chisom Udoba. As usual, we have a lot of things in stock for you. I'm sure you can see my environment. Yes, I am currently here at Nellin Studio for the 2019 edition of EJ Arts Exhibition titled Culture. Today we are here to talk about arts and how to promote it in Anambra State and also in Nigeria. So stay with me as I bring you lots of other interesting things. Yes, this is the interview section, and I have with me one of the facilitators and one of the organizers of this beautiful event, EJ Arts Exhibition 2019, Miss Chinelo.
Hi, thank you very much. Nice of you guys being here.
Yes, thank you too. Right. So, want to know about this event? What prompted it? What made you think about something like this?
Well, it's not just me. We are a group we're a five-man team, or 4-man, 1-woman team. But we are EJ Arts Movement, and our goal is sort of to tell African stories through art. But it goes beyond that as well. It's about sort of starting from what people know, which is visual art, and sort of integrating it with all forms of art, and eventually becoming a creative force. Because we feel like down here in the Southeast, there's not as much creativity support. So we want to be that house and that group that is celebrating that and supporting that in any way we can, yes.
So what is the driving force, apart from promoting, what is the driving force? Let's say everything falls up.
Yes.
Nice to be able to move.
I think that's one thing about what we are doing is we have come to realize that our greatest strength is unity, being a group. I think one thing I noticed about most artists, even beyond visual artists, that everybody wants to sort of shine on their own. There's this, but I think we are saying, hey, normally this is something that should be done on a government level, and we should have sponsors and brand facilitators. But we are saying no, if that is not happening, if we're not getting that kind of support, why don't we come together and create it? This is happening all over in advanced countries, but we are waiting. We don't want to be waiting. We want to create that dream that we want. All of us are artists, but everybody thinks art is a starving profession. But no, we can also make it very profitable and very cool to say I'm an artist by coming together saying, hey, we don't have the financial support, but there are greater things than money. There are greater things than money. There are other ways to exchange goodwill, saying, hey, I have this, you have this, I can do this, you can do this, let's come together. And that's what EJ is about. It's promoting unity, it's promoting creativity, promoting innovation as well.
Okay, so how long has this movement been up?
This is the second one. We had one last year. I don't know if we weren't here then, yes. But we had one last year, and this is an upgrade. And we're happy that we can do better, and we're looking forward to the third one. So we have at least one every year in Oka. Then we go out to other places to showcase. But it's a way of selling Southeast as well.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So are you happy with the outcome and how it's really turning out?
Oh, yes. I mean, this has been in plan since, I would say, late last year, early this year. And I mean, it couldn't have gotten better. We went through a lot of challenges, but we stuck together and said we can pull through. And we got a lot of good surprises, a lot of bad surprises, which we took as learning. Because now we know this is a long-term thing. Everything that goes wrong, we learn from it and do better next year. So it's cool.
So what are some of these challenges?
Obviously, if you stay in the Southeast at least, you can't be a full-time artist. You can be a full-time artist in saying, but you're not. You always have a second job. So having that, making out time from our normal plan Bs, like some people call it, to meet and plan this is very hard, and that kind of creates a lot of problems as well. But somehow, like I said, because we're a group and we want it, we can stay up all night planning this and then have to go to work very tired, but we know that this is what we want, and we know that everything that's sustainable takes time. We don't want to sort of do this because it's all about creating hype. We want to create quality, we want to create quality content and promote creativity. So it's a sacrifice we're making now, and it's worth it. Yes.
Yes, you have been listening to Ms. Chinelo, one of the facilitators of this EJ Arts movement. We'll go on a short break now to look at some of the works being exhibited here. So don't go anywhere, stay with us.
This painting is titled Obinna Wongli. The name sounds very funny because it's funny how people forget about their culture. This guy was, he's an Igbo person, but he's dressed in a Japanese costume, like a samurai, in an Igbo festival. So he has forgotten about his own culture and he's behaving like the Japanese in his own hometown. And this is the case with a lot of us. We've forgotten our own culture. We are complaining about how the British people colonized us, but the Chinese are colonizing us again. And most of our products these days are made in China. So the same thing is about to happen. So that's what I'm trying to depict here. So I titled this work Onye Iberibe. It's depicting someone who has been hypnotized by culture. You know, these days we follow a lot of cultural norms without asking questions. They tell you, "Why ideally gizzard?" You don't ask questions, you just stick by it. I see why. So open your mom or your sister so culture was made for man, not man for culture. So that's what I was trying to depict here. This person has been hypnotized by culture. He's no longer asking questions. He's just following whatever the culture says he should do. You understand? So whether good or bad. So that's what I tried to depict here.
In this work, I titled it Riches Within. Riches Within. And I tried to discover the essence of the beauty in African culture, more especially this part of the region. Okay. Now, I discovered that we have a lot of endowment, which I use the breast to portray here, okay? Now, there's an endowment and there's beauty when we talk about the neck of a woman, you get so, and the face itself. Now, apart from that, I decided to pick my material from the environment. I decided to make it of plastic to promote the environment and also to promote our indigenous works, okay? Now, in the same way, I have to make use of this plastic to upcycle, to do what we call upcycling. In other words, we can try to make an artwork that will portray something meaningful, something that will be more valuable to the ones who see outside there.
I'm a painter. This is my work. It's titled Adanna. It's actually a part of a series of 2 works that are talking about the Nigerian girl. Adanna is a girl that is looking into the mirror, and what she sees in the mirror is her future. What probably you may say the society has given to her. You know, the norm is you go to school, you graduate, you get married, you have children, and you're happy. So the other piece actually is a beautiful future, but the other piece is also trying to show another reality that is not so apparent because it's not common, but it's also true. Like, it's the picture of an icon, a Nigerian icon is a female achiever. That's Genevieve. She has done great for herself and she is an independent lady. That's also a reality too, but it's not something that maybe every girl may believe is true or possible. So, but I've attempted to share in that story that it's possible that the Nigerian girl can actually be whatever she wants to be. She can be a mother, she can also be more. She could even be a president of Nigeria someday. So that's that about the works. I also have one other piece that is titled Angolika. Angolika is actually a moment. You know, as Nigerians, we appreciate wealth and success. Those are different kind of successes, but there's also another kind of success, like sharing a good meal and being happy, you know, in the family. So I captured one of those moments of happiness, and I'm trying to say that it's priceless.
My work here depicts everything about dance. It's actually a particular kind of dance in Igbo. Aside from the 5 top dances that we have in Igbo land, we have this Atilogu. This is Atilogu dance, mainly Mpokete. The founder, late chief Festus Okoli Nwankwo, actually founded this in 1959. It's a historical dance group. It's still on till date, but you know, I just try to depict them in such a way that people would also know that they have been there, going to various competitions and everything, back in the 90s, in the 1970s and thereabout. They are an acrobatic dance group that only requires able young men to be part of the group, because it has to do with lots of charismatic movements, acrobatic movements and everything, both their expressions, their dance movement and everything. So here I try to bring them back to life for people to actually know about them, to actually know what they're there for. They are also there maybe for events and all kinds of ceremonies and everything. They go about doing it. It's a particular dance, just like Mao dance group, what's it called, the War dance group and the rest of them. They are a particular dance group that shows that we are here for events, we are here for ceremonies, we are here for lots of things, both for the states, international, local, and otherwise.
And this particular work, I titled it Queen Mother. So, all along, we have issues of people being, or women being called second-class citizens. But I want to use this work to say no to that, because women are more of the engine in a ship. They are the stronger ones. If you do your research well, you will know. They are the stronger ones. In a family, they hold the family together, make sure it doesn't break apart. So I use this work to put myself in their shoes, to know what they go through, because it seems like we don't appreciate them, but I do with my work. If you look at the characters well, you would actually see it's a female masquerade, which is synonymous to the eastern part of Nigeria, and it is called Abohomo, which means maiden masquerade. So I titled this work Egu Abohomo, meaning Dance of the Maiden Spirits. So in this work, I got a little inspired by why do we toss aside our culture when we can make it better? We can really make this better if we work towards it. We can make it better for the society. We can make it better for the world at large. The dance, ballet dance, I looked at it and it's kind of synonymous to this our local dance, Atilogu. So why do we now appreciate more of Atilogu? Why do we appreciate more of ballet dance than Atilogu? As Nigerians we are. We should promote our own and sell it to the West, and not appreciate their own and sell it to us. So we should promote our culture, make it better, and sell it to the West.
Okay, I'm a textile and fiber artist, and that means that I use textile and fiber materials as my mediums to tell my stories through my artwork. Here on this, in this work of in the EGA 2019 exhibition, I titled this work "The Evolution of Dance Series." As we all know, the Nigerian music industry has experienced, a rapid growth over the past two decades. And these dance steps are actually dance steps that have actually helped to shape the music industry in Nigeria. What we try to do in art is to tell stories and bring back to people the things we've forgotten. So what I try to do is to capture some dance steps in the past that we've forgotten, like the Makossa. From the Makossa, there was a time Makossa was reigning in the early 90s, to Yawuze. Yawuze, Olu maintains Yawuze. I tried to capture that. I know a whole lot of people have forgotten about that, but I try to bring that to our reality right now. And from there, it evolved. The reigning or the music in vogue evolved from Yawuze, Makossa Yawuze to Alanta, the one that's done like a crazy person. That's what I tried to do here. Then from Alanta, we went to Azonto. Azonto became, the talk of the whole world from Ghana, and it now blew up in Nigeria. And from Azonto, we went on to Etigi, which was, very popularized by Iyaga's Kukere music. Etigi was the talk of the town in Nigeria. Then after Etigi, we had Skelewu, the video Skelewu, and after Skelewu, after the reign of Skelewu came Shoki. Shoki became in vogue. And I tried to tell that story. Then from Shoki, the reigning thing evolved from Shoki to Olamide's Shakiti Bobo. From Shakiti Bobo, we went to Shaku Shaku. And after Shaku Shaku is really of our time now. And after Shaku Shaku, we now have the most latest one, which is the Zanku, you know, where people, you know, so that I try to tell that story, you know, capture that with my textile, you know, art skill, and that's just what art is to me, you know, trying to tell stories with true textile.
You're welcome back from that short break, and I'm sure you've seen all those beautiful artworks. Well, Chinelo, can you please tell us your final words to young artists who are trying to learn how to draw, write, and everything? What's your advice?
Just start doing something. Start making connections. Stop waiting for money. I'll tell that to everybody anyway. Anybody who has a dream, just start something. Look for people who share that idea. Be honest with it, with them and with yourself, and start something. No matter how small, check around you. And one of us here, when he started drawing, all he had was charcoal from firewood, and he started. And look at him, he's doing surrealistic work. So start something and make connections, and be patient. Stop looking for instant gratification. Be patient, build. It takes time, but when you get there, it's sustainable. It doesn't go away that easy. So that's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm sure you heard her. Start small, but be patient and be consistent. And certainly your passion is going to see you to the top. And this is where we come to the end of this segment. But don't go anywhere. We still have a lot in stock for you.
Arts can be promoted in Nigeria through activities like this, exhibitions, creating awareness. There is, thank God for social media. Instagram has been a blessing to us. So media like Instagram, Facebook, they help you promote your artworks. You know, just put it out there. Tell people, network. Tell people what you do. That's a very good way.
Okay. Now, when we talk about the issue of art in Africa or maybe in Nigeria, okay, how to promote art, I think we artists we are far behind in terms of production of art. But we can produce art as well, but there's something we will lack in the production of art. We don't consider our time. All right, art's supposed to move in line with the time. We're supposed to talk about our environment and things happening in the socio-political time. So I believe that as an artist, you have to promote your art, okay, in line with the time. We can use art to build a government, and we can use art to bring down a government, because in art we have a lot of content in art. Any art that doesn't have a content, that means that art doesn't have a meaning.
About appreciation of arts in Nigeria, I believe it's a work that is meant both for the artist and both for every other regular Nigerian. It is dependent on both of them, but I believe it's a culture that we may have to come into over time, because at the current state, we as Nigerians, we are still trying to survive. So when you talk about arts, it is kind of unrealistic because the normal Nigerian wants to eat, wants to build a big house, wants to, ride a nice car. So, but it's all good. We are actually going to continue to practice, and we hope that we are going to get to that point where every Nigerian will be comfortable enough to think beyond survival. But at this current stage where we are trying to survive, it's difficult. But we, as artists, we are going ahead to tell that story of what is actually happening. And we hope that some wealthy Nigerians would be able to appreciate the works that we are doing. But beyond that, art is not also appreciated only by the money, but also by when you understand what the work is trying to say. If you can get that, I think that's also enough pay too. Yes.
First of all, let's bring it down to our homes rather. Most parents don't encourage their children to go into arts. Yeah, lucky for me, I was encouraged. Thank God for me. And I would say it should be from the home. Like they say, charity begins at home. It should begin from the home. If you see a talent that your child is exhibiting, try to encourage, try to inspire, try to stand by the child, to tell the child that yes, this is a profession that you can actually go into and you can be great in it. Just like we have doctors, nurses, and the rest of them. Yeah, they are being tagged professional courses or whatever. But art in particular is a big profession. But because we don't really know about it that much in this country, here the artists are trying to tell people out there that there is a profession, a good profession called art. And kids should be encouraged to it. They should be groomed to it each stage. They shouldn't just shy away, maybe telling them, this is not for you, this is just like playing around. No, it's not playing around. It's actually something that someone can start up with and be great in.
These days, art is not rigid. It's very flexible. It's not rigid. I can spend my money on artistic couch made by an artist. It depends on how far the artist can go. So when you try to integrate art into fashion, interior, and so on and so forth, you find out that unconsciously you are promoting art in the society.
Like what we're doing here, we could promote art in so many ways because really in this part of the world, especially even in the country, in this part of the country, art is not really in vogue. So what we're doing as a group, EJ Arts Movement Group, who held this exhibition, is that we're trying to encourage young people, bring into our reality that you could still find fun doing art. That's why we hold exhibitions like this. We hold art sessions. What we try to do in all these things, we don't just come to show off. No, what we're trying to do is to inspire young ones. Before we held this exhibition, we went around to places like schools, like the Bishop Crowder Seminary, Blossom Fount, so many schools. What we try to do is to, inspire young ones who want to toe this path and show them that really there is a way for them. There is a light at the end of the tunnel for them. There's hope.
The book for the week is You Have a Brain. This is a book written by renowned medical doctor and New York Times best-selling author Ben Carson. It is a non-fiction book, just like Ben Carson's other books, Think Big, Gifted Hands, The Big Picture, etc. Through the book, which is specially written for young people, Ben Carson uses his lifelong story to illustrate that everyone has a brain which is capable of doing much of anything. The 22-chaptered book, plus the personal talent assessment, was designed to appeal to the readers through titles like The Amazing Brain, Think Beyond the Can, etc. Through gripping, interesting, and inspiring stories, Ben Carson illustrates how to think big and think smart. The different letters in Think Big all had individual meanings and had separate chapters, like T stands for talent, H, honesty, I, insight, N. Niceness. K. Knowledge. B. Books. I. In-depth. I. In-depth learning. And G. God. The positive effect of this book in the life of people, especially teenagers, cannot be overemphasized. So, if you haven't read this book, go get it. Remember, creative people are readers.
This is the Creative Updates. As usual, we have a lot of juicy things to bring to you today. As you can see, I am still here at the EJ Arts Movement 2019. And secondly on our list today is the Poetry Slam Anambra that's coming your way very, very soon. We have information that is going to be taking place on the 17th of May, and it is going to be wonderful. It's all about poetry, music, artworks, and so much more. Then finally, the Young Authors Conference is going to be coming up on the 27th and 28th of May. It's just for young writers that want to learn, that want to meet other writers too, and want to learn the nitty-gritties of writing. I'm sure you need to be there. If you're a writer, you're a literary enthusiast, you need to be at that event because it's going to be wonderful. And this is where we come to the end of this edition of Creative Forum. Go to our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/ABS Radio TV. Like this video, share with your friends, and also leave your comments, and we are going to get back to you. I still remain your host, Chisum Doba. Enjoy the rest of your day.